Abraham Liu, you're the president of Huawei to the EU institutions here in Brussels. What are the challenges facing rural broadband in particular? The EU says it wants an inclusive broadband that can reach everywhere. What do we need to do?
Actually, if you talk about broadband or the digital economy, it becomes as important as the water, as important as the electricity. So the digital will be part of the society, part of the people's life, and it will play more and more important role. So in rural area, you might be surprised. Globally, there are nearly 47% of the household is unconnected. Even in Europe, around 46% of the household is, enjoying a very low internet speed, or even around 3 to 4% of the household is unconnected. So definitely there is a lot to do to fulfill this kind of digital divide. And Huawei, since we are operating in 170 countries, we have the global best practices, shared from all the customers across the world, and we have some unique innovations on this kind of universal, a digital rural coverage, like Rural Star. It's kind of a set of solution to lower down the cost, fasten the deployment implementation period. That's very important to bring our customer or the EU society a option of fulfill the gap, from the rural to the city in a digital agenda, digital development.
And can you give us an idea of some of those challenges? I mean, in Europe, we've got everything from very high mountains to remote coastal areas. How do you get your technology there? And are you the only organization offering that sort of technology, or are there competitors?
Actually, the high-speed internet, based on the traditional cellular technology, is based on kind of base station, the backhaul, and also the antenna, to provide the signal to the end users. So in many cases, this related to a huge capex, capital expenditure. The towers, look at the huge towers, because of the high cost, in human, the labor cost. Usually, the cost for one base station is very, very high. So what we do, from Huawei is we, make use of we call it Rural Star as a solution, leveraging on the technology of the single run, one site, one antenna for every technology, from 2G, 3G, 4G, in the future for 5G, and also use the solar power to provide the electricity. And the backhaul can be either linked by the existing 4G LTE signal, or microwave, or fiber, wherever they have the fiber. So this give the operator or our customer the option of provide very cost-effective rural coverage in terms of the technology capability, and fast time to market possibilities. This is very, very promising, and it has been proven across the world.
When you speak to different member states in the EU, they're all struggling with this problem of reaching the rural communities who feel excluded from the information age. When you speak to them, what do they say about it? What will it mean for them, for their societies, for their rural communities, and obviously politically as well? I imagine that there are people demanding this sort of service. Like you say, it's like water now, it's a necessity.
Today we have around 18 representatives from 18 different EU member states in charge of the digital agenda, in Brussels, representing their countries. We discuss such the important, topic, the digitalization in a rural area. Actually, I feel most of them, they share the same kind of the importance. How important is this topic about? And I just believe that what we provide, on the table is what the member states really need in a rural area. By the way, I was in Croatia last weekend. There are beautiful islands, but the tourists, they when they want to send the photo or the videos back to their families, they really sometimes they get difficulties. With this kind of solution, I think the situation can be changed in a very shortest time.